Hello and welcome to my channel, The Lure Angler. Today I'm going to show you how to rig up one of these bad boys. So this is a 27cm shadteez. It's a fantastic lure for trolling. I use it on my kayak. I've got a Hobie kayak. So I cast one of these out the back and generally fishing it in the bottom third of the water. And trolling one of these is a fantastic way to catch big pike. So one consideration when you're rigging one of these up is don't even think about putting a single hook at the front, just a plain jig head, because there's no way that's going to be an effective method of hooking fish up unless the fish are right on the game and they're engulfing the whole lure every single time. More often than not, a pike is going to take the tail end of this, or it's going to T-bone the side of it, it's going to hit it from the bottom. But if your hook point is just here, then that leaves 3/4 of that lure completely without any hooks. So what I'm going to show you is how to make up a harness. Harness can have a couple of trebles off it. I'm going to hang one off the bottom. I'm going to put around about the 1/3 mark. I'm going to have a second stinger hook around about the 2/3 mark. Just leaving this back third here without a stinger in. There are options to change that, to go a little bit further down if you really felt like you needed to, or if you just get a lot of tail nips. But for 90% of the scenarios, this method that I'm going to show you now will be the ideal way to rig a large soft plastic. So we'll start off with one of these Westin screw jigs. So great way of putting lead at the front of your lure without having the hook in. The hook can often stiffen up your lure anyway, so I prefer a screw-in head, certainly on heavier lures like this. So hang it so it's vertical, push it in, a couple of quick turns, and make sure the nose of that lure is butted right up to the lead of this jig head. Okay, when that's on, you want your line clip hanger to be the one which is vertical, and your stinger hanger, which is the one that angles at 45 degrees backwards. Okay, once we got this, and you get some steel wire. So the one I'm using today is just some Bloodstrand 49 by Savage Gear. As long as it's metal, then it's not too important. I always use fluorocarbon on my leader traces, but for stinger traces, because there's no silhouette to it, it's not going to be in open water, you know, like right in front of your lure. I don't see any harm in adding that extra security and making sure that your stinger traces are out of steel. So I get a piece. I've cut a piece off ready here, but rule of thumbs, like we were saying, 1/3 and 2/3. To make it changeable, I'm going to put a split ring on. So make sure your split ring's rated to at least the rating of the wire that you're using. The split ring is going to be my attachment point to the bottom hanger. Okay, I work it in a fashion where I've got 2 tails to it. One will be a short link, which will run 1/3 of the length of that lure with about an extra inch to give me some crimping space. And the second tag is going to be about double the length, and that one is going to run to about 2/3 of the length of the lure. Get my split ring pliers. I just got these braid scissors with split ring pliers on the end. Really useful. Attach that on there. Make sure these 2 tails are around about the right length before you just give it a quick squeeze with the crimping pliers. Don't overpressure them because you can deform it to the point where you split the actual metal, but just a nice hand pressure and just squeeze them tight. So these 2 here, looking pretty much perfect for what I want. Okay, on goes the crimp. Then you treble, loop it back over, and then tag end and the second half of the barrel. Don't nip it up just yet because we're going to play around with the hook placement, make sure we're happy with it before we crimp that on. Same again on the second stinger. In one side, on with the treble, loop it back through, and that's there. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that sits pretty much perfect for my liking. This one, I don't want it to encroach too much on this tail section because it can impede the action of the lure. We want it still to have plenty of nice movement and roll. So I'd say maybe bring it back 1/4 inch there. Bearing in mind I'm going to have a stinger hanger here, and that shouldn't restrict that at all. So I'm quite happy with the placement of that one. So again, crimps, leaving plenty of room in that section there for that treble hook to have some free movement. This one, we're happy with that there as well. I think that looks good. Just going to give it a tiny bit more clearance inside the loop. Hand tight again, good pressure, but don't break it. And then with these now, I'm just going to snip off the tail ends. Okay, so now that's all crimped up, what you can do, if you want, is you can just stick these into the belly like that. However, you have just wasted 2 out of your 6 hook points there. So I like the separation in that. I've got the 1/3 point that I talked about. I've got the 2/3 point that I talked about. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to free up these extra hook points by using stinger hangers. Stick them into the wire of your stinger. Don't have it too tight because again you're going to restrict the movement, and just push them into the belly of your lure. That's one. Second one here again. Clip it in onto the knot of your stinger. Look for the perfect position. Push it in, and then again. So that's it, complete. That's what I'd consider a perfectly rigged and balanced lure ready for trolling. There are different rigging options if you wanted to put treble hooks off the top, jig head with the stinger off the back of the shank of the jig head, top mounted stingers which go straight to this eye up here. I've got all those in a separate video. Plenty of other videos in my channel. The next one is going to have all the different stinger arrangement options for different size lures ranging from 7 centimeters all the way up to the 27 centimeters like this. 1/3 and 2/3, and that is going to be a killer bait. Hope you've enjoyed the video. See you on the next one.